Hey everyone, Chad here with Team Meat in the Freezer, and today we're going to go over how to choose a bow, part 4, and we're going to talk about some arrow rests. So in part 1 and part 2, I talked about how to choose your bow. Part 3, I talked about how to choose some strings and cables. If you choose to replace them, if you got a new bow, you can roll with the factory strings. If you're getting a used bow, you should probably replace them unless they've been replaced very recently. So you've got the bow and some strings and cables. Now it's time to talk about some accessories, especially an arrow rest is what we're going to cover real quick here. So there are a whole bunch of arrow rests out there and a whole bunch of manufacturers. Now I'm not saying that one is any better than the other. I'm going to just show you what I chose for this bow. So backing up a minute, there's basically two types of arrow rests. There's dropaways, and then there is non-dropaways. I don't know any hunters these days that don't shoot a dropaway. It just doesn't make sense not to. I was trying to look around here at some of my old stuff to see if I even had one that's not a dropaway to show you guys, and I don't even have one anymore. So that's that. And I've been shooting a bow for 30 plus years, so yeah, I just don't have. I don't remember the last time I didn't shoot a dropaway. So what do I mean by dropaway? What I mean by dropaway is when you draw the bow back, the rest comes up. When you fire the bow, the rest goes down. It's out of your way, out of the arrow's way. Pretty dumb not to shoot one. So we get into dropaways. There's basically two types of dropaways. And I mean that by, there's one that's cable driven and there's one that's limb driven. Meaning one, the cables cause it to go up as you draw the bow back, and another one, the limbs cause it to go up as you draw back, and then, when you release the bow, it goes down. I chose this one by QAD. I like to support local companies. This was made out here near Lexington, Virginia. I like to support some local companies. So going with that, there's two ways to mount these things. Either you split the cable and put the string through it, or it comes with this little plastic device that you can clamp on the string and clamp on the cable. Not using that. I just don't like to have anything extra on my bow to fail on me. Alright. So you might be thinking, well, he's already got the rest mounted on his bow. I told you before, got this bow sent to me because I couldn't go get it because of this COVID-19 restrictions, and Sean at Domain Outdoors said he won't send me a bow that he doesn't feel is reasonably set up and close to tune. I get it. I gotcha. Thank you for saving me some work. But I want to show you guys how to do this yourselves. So there we have it. Like I chose a dropaway rest. Most people these days shoot dropaway rest. There's some target archers that shoot, it's a little blade rest, and that's target shooting. You're never going to shoot one of those for hunting. It's just not practical. So obviously when you get the rest at the shop, or if you order one offline, it's not going to come already mounted to the bow like this one is. It's going to come in a box. So I'm going to unbolt this one real quick and show you guys how to do that. So what you've got on the rest is you've got the main bolt right here, and then this is like a little lock screw. So to unbolt this thing, I'm going to take lock screw loose, and then I'm going to take, that's the size, that one loose. Alright, so now you have your arrow rest, right? It's going to come just like this out of the box. So obviously the first thing you're going to do is mounted on the bow. Now, like most bows are going to have a couple different holes right here in the riser as to where you could mount it, as to what one you run it in. Probably not going to really matter as to which one you use. Just have to look at the rest here and see which hole is going to fit, you know, for that rest, this rest. You know, I could use either one. I'm just going to use the back one. Screw that in. Get it down, get it, you know, fairly tight, or get it snug, I should say. And you're just going to want to kind of, you know, make sure the rest is level on the bow. You know, make sure it's level. You know, that looks about right. Okay, cool. All right, then we're going to lock it down. So, you know, don't be afraid to tighten these things down. This is something you do not want to come loose. I mean, you could really use some Loctite if you want to. I never really felt the reason to. So you're going to tighten that down pretty tight. And you're going to switch over. And then this is just like a little lock screw right there. Switch over. Tighten that guy down. Now don't over tighten that one. Small screw, you'll strip it out. You strip it out, you're going to have some problems. Alright, so now we got the rest mounted on there. And with cable driven rests, like I told you, I'm not going to use that little plastic adapter I just threw across the room. I'm just not going to do it. But let's just say you're at home and you don't have a bow press. The only way to put this through the cables is with a bow press. So if you don't have that, use the plastic adapter. You'll be fine. Just make sure you tighten it down. Make sure you check it every once in a while. Make sure it's not coming loose. So now where do you put this on the cable? Well, Ronnie hooked me up when he made these and he already served in a little piece right here. Which it doesn't have to be, but if you have a bow press already and you're going to put this through, you just want to do a little wrap of some serving right here, just so it has something to, you know, stop it from coming up, and then just tie you a little knot right there to start out with. Alright, so then you have, you know, where am I gonna put this rest as far as up as down, just to get started with. And you're gonna want to set it, so these are called the burger holes, right, where your rest bolts on to here. And you're gonna want a good starting point is, you know, kind of running dead center through there, through the burger holes. And what you can do is, you know, grab an arrow. You know, at this point you've probably already talked to the shop a little bit about what arrows you may want to shoot. That's next is what arrows you want, you know, arrow selection. But they're going to have one that's pretty close, or I can use a bow square. I have one around here somewhere. Honestly, folks, I don't use one. Never have. I worked in an archery shop for a couple years. I just don't use one. That's me. So what I mean by holding it up, and there you want to get it running, you know, so it's pretty much about dead center in the burger hole, and that's a real good spot to start. And to adjust it, it's real easy. You just, you know, loosen up a screw right there, slide it up a little bit, get to where you want it, and you're set. And then now, left and right. What I will generally do, it's really hard to show you how to do this on film, but I will look down the string, I'll center the string up on the cam. You know, I'll look at it like this, and I'll look top and bottom and center it on the cam. It's normally going to be centered on your grip right here. It's normally going to run down the center of that. And now if you need to adjust that, just, you know, set screw, left, right, lock it down. And there you have that part of it. Now the drop away part of it. So obviously it's got to drop away right when you release the string, otherwise it's not going to be set correctly. So with these QED rests, what they have here is they have the string comes through right here, and it comes out this side over here, and there's a little set screw inside here. So you've got it attached down here first, you've got it in here, and just get somewhere close to where you want it. You'll be able to tell as you're drawing it back, right? So here, I'll show you. Like you're gonna go draw it back, right? And you're drawing the bow back. That rest should come up right when you get to the end of the draw cycle. There you go. Now, as soon as you let go, it starts to come down. Now if you look like, why didn't that go all the way down? Well, because I didn't let the string go. If I let the string go, it would have definitely came down. Like I said, that's very important when setting up this rest, that when you draw the bow back, as you get to full draw, the rest is just coming up. Now you'd be like, well, why does that really matter? Well, you don't want it to ride, your arrow to ride on the rest for very long as it's going forward, because that's not what a drop away rest is meant for. There's no spring to it, there's no give to it, because your arrow is going to flex a little bit as it comes out of the bow. That's why you want it to drop right away, hence the name drop away rest. Also, what can happen is, you think about it, this is attached to your cable, right? So if you're drawing your bow back and that rest is already all the way up, when you're not at full draw yet, you're going to keep going to full draw, and the bow is going to let you. And what that's going to do, it's going to put a whole bunch of pressure, unneeded pressure on this cable, and it's going to mess up your timing of your cams that I talked about in part 3. If you haven't watched that, you need to go ahead and do that. And then before that, watch part 1 and part 2. Watch this in order. So there we talked about quick setup of an arrow rest. I'm going to get more into how to fine tune this when I get into the tuning aspect of a bow. But that's kind of what I do, you know, right away when I get a rest. Like I said, you take the rest out of the package, you mount it on the bow, make sure it's kind of, you know, level, lock this one down, lock your little lock ring or lock Allen screw down right there, rest is locked into place, get your up and down, and you want it kind of centered in the burger hole. If you look real closely, a lot of manufacturers do recommend like where to run the arrow, whether it's bottom of the hole, top of the hole, something like that. It's all a starting point. It's all a starting point when we get into the tuning factor. I've always kind of ran them through dead center, and we see where we get from that. And then when I said the left to right, you want to look at your bow, you know, center up your string with your cams. Like I said, most of the time it's going to be in the center of your riser, down to the center of your grip. Set the arrow rest there when you're looking down it, looking at the string. And that's a real good starting place for you. Like I said, the up and down adjustment, left and right adjustment. Now you can get a lot fancier on these instead of just loosening up a screw and you know, doing stuff by hand. And I'll show you an example of that. This is my target bow, and if you see on this one, it has little adjustment knobs, so you loosen up the screws, and then you can, you know, fine tune it left or right, on like that. You're gonna pay more to have adjustments like that. You just are. It's just the way it is. This QAD rest, I think they go for around like, I don't know, I think they're around 140, 150, something like that. And you can get the upper end models of these that have, you know, the micro, they call it micro adjust. I just don't feel it's necessary in the rest, like this rest for this particular bow setup. Now, like I said, on my tournament bow, you know, I've shot that bow in tournaments out to, you know, like 100 yards or beyond when we're doing, you know, some kind of money shoots and stuff like that. And you can get into some really, really fine adjustments when we get out that far. Now, I will shoot my hunting bow out to 80 to 100 yards in practice. Will I kill an animal that far? No, I won't shoot an animal that far. But I like to practice out that far just to test my skills and see what the bow can do out that far. But we're going to get into more of that when we get to the rest of the bow set and we actually get out to a range when they open up, go away COVID-19, so I can shoot farther than 15 yards in my backyard. We'll get more into that. So there you have it. You know, kind of how to choose an arrow rest, how to mount it, how to get it set up so you're ready to start shooting a bow once we get through a couple more things, which will be in further episodes. So, you know, once again, take a kid in the outdoors, take a disabled vet in the outdoors, you know, just get in the outdoors. Go enjoy God's creation. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hit the little bell down there so you get, you know, alerts when we post new videos. Please find us on Facebook and Instagram. You know, like us and follow us on there. Every little bit helps out. Stay safe and God bless.